The great thing about this particular type of plant grouping is that in a matter of 2 months, everything will be full and lush and thick. So hello gardeners. If you guys are looking to create a private oasis in your backyard or a little bit of seclusion from those neighbors, then stick around because this video is just for you. I'm going to go over 5 of my favorite tropical plants and trees that are going to offer a big impact of coverage, create that perfect buffer for your backyard space. Do it pretty quickly, and then I'm going to share with you kind of how everything is going to grow in and really create that tropical jungle feel. I am in Rockledge, Florida today. We just finished a project for my friends Lisa and Mark, and their backyard space was it was a little tough. It was one of those spots that the house sits quite a bit higher than the backyard, so they kind of really felt like their back patio was pretty much a fish bowl. It looked back out to all the roof lines, all the other backyards, and it was just not at all what they were wanting to see as they enjoyed their outdoor space. So they found us on YouTube and called me in and said, could you please do something in my backyard space, create some privacy, create a tropical space that we're really going to enjoy and one that we can build upon. So I thought this might be a really great video to bring you guys in on. Because of the logistics of the space that we had to work with, a lot of this material was brought in at a fairly young size. So a lot of my projects, they're quite large. The plants, the trees, everything is pretty substantial. It took machines to get it in here. But for a lot of you DIYers out there, I thought this video just might be for you because the collection of plants and trees that we have in here, 90% of them were 30-gallon, 25-gallon, 7-gallon, 3-gallon, all-size plants. So this is definitely a project that you could tackle and kind of create that secluded area, that little nook that you're looking for in your own space. So I thought this video might just be a good timely video, especially because we just dealt with Milton. A lot of us have some areas that we have to redo, maybe some areas that we lost some coverage on. So I thought I would introduce some of my favorite tried and true tropical plants and trees that's going to do the trick pretty quickly. So I'm going to walk you through those in then hopes that this might help encourage you or inspire you guys to get back out in the garden and I know sometimes restart and create your outdoor space. But we live in Florida and we have the pluses and minuses of that, but that also means that we get the enjoyment of living outdoors. I know that Mark and Lisa, they feel like they've really doubled the size of their living space by creating this outdoor buffer. Now they can really enjoy that patio, really enjoy the backyard. They don't feel like they have to be quiet because the neighbors are over there, or they're not looking directly into windows or things along those lines. Is it going to take a little while for all of this material to grow in and create that buffer feel? It's going to take about a year for them to really see that full layer of coverage, but they are off to a really good start. So I thought, gosh, let me take you guys along with me, share with you the trees, share with you what they're going to do in hopes that this might be something that you can recreate in your space. It might give you a good shopping list. I'll tell you as much information as I can, as well as putting the zones down below at the bottom, so that way you guys can determine if this is going to fit into your space. I'll discuss sun, I'll discuss shade areas, I'll talk about cold tolerance, wind tolerance, and definitely very, very windy today. So these plants and trees can really hack it. All right, you guys, I'm going to turn this camera around because I've already gotten off topic. And I am going to share with you those 5 favorites. This is less of a garden tour and more of create your own private space tour. Use these plants and trees, if this is a look that you like, to recreate those little nooks, those little spaces that you might need some coverage for. So without further ado, we are going to start. I'm going to flip you around and we'll look at the first plant and tree. Okay, you guys, so I will start with giving you a quick sweep of this backyard space here. So as you can see, this is on a pretty severe slope. The patio area sits up nice and high. And then I'll slide in a before picture so you get a chance to see what it looked like and what you looked out to prior to the landscaping. So these layers are going to come in really nice and full. to really give them that secluded space that they're looking for. First tree in our list, which is the fishtail palms. These guys do a fantastic job of instantaneous screening. I mean, their density is pretty amazing. I love what they offer. I don't know if you guys can hear that because I have the microphone on, but all that kind of movement of those little fishtail leaves that offers such a nice bit of sound as the wind blows. I just absolutely love what they do. Not only give you coverage with their thickness and their denseness, but they kind of give you that kind of consistent little bit of white noise almost, as they give you a little bit of that clapping of the leaves. But I just think they're so fabulous. Now these guys that we brought in are 30-gallon size. They're running about 8 foot tall. Now, you can easily pick these up at 15-gallon size. They're about 5 foot tall and about half as wide. Way easier to maneuver around, but our guys did bring these back, 2 guys in a tree dolly. And it took some maneuvering because they're bulky at this size. However, they grow super fast, approximately 3 foot a year, and will grow all the way up to 25 foot tall. One thing I really do like about these is see how narrow, we don't have a lot of room to work with at the bottom. And Mark can actually trim whatever trunks, he can select whatever trunks he wants to trim to keep that real compact and narrow at the base, or he can let that fill that under canopy to really create more of a dense barrier of sound. So there's really, you can really do a lot with the clumping palm because you can pretty much, it's almost, think of it like a bouquet. You can keep the bottom tethered together really nice and tight and let the tops open up and fan out to give you that coverage you're looking for. And when that gets about 20-25 foot tall, that's going to create a beautiful dense wall. So tree number 2 is the coconut palm. Now this guy is also a 30-gallon. It's about 14 foot tall. You get a lot of size with this tree, a lot for the money with this tree, which I absolutely love. He's going to open up and become a beautiful wide canopy. Now these trees grow exceptionally fast, so that can be a plus or a minus for those of you guys. In this particular case, we have, it's kind of hard to see because maybe I'll slide in the before picture, but you can see 4 roof lines back here, and I really wanted this tree to kind of come over and go from corner of the fence to, corner of the fence. So I kind of wanted it to really widen out, become the big focal point and take up the whole corner of this garden. And it's absolutely going to do that. A coconut palm will get all the way up to 30 foot wide if you let it. I mean, it really does become a nice broad, wide canopy, which is fantastic for a feature tree. However, when that happens, you kind of have a bean pole kind of look at the bottom. The bottom 8 to 10 feet or so, depending on how tall the tree is going to be nothing but stock. So that's the reason why we brought in plant number 3 on the list. These are Brazilian red cloaks. So these guys went through Hurricane Milton just a few days ago. So we've got some lost leaves on them. They're a little bit wind burnt, but they're going to pop right back. They've been fertilized and treated, and they're going to really be a nice lush grouping underneath that tree. And because Brazilian red cloaks like to be anywhere between 8 to 12 foot tall, it's going to grow as an understory plant to that coconut palm. So that coconut palm is going to give you all that upper coverage, making all of those roof lines just completely disappear. And then at the bottom, you're going to have green 8 foot walls here with big, bright burgundy pinkish coloring on the blooms. I'll slide in a picture of what mine look like. I have a grouping of 4 about the same size when I planted them on the corner of my front yard. And you guys, every time I come home, that is the very first thing I see as I'm coming down the road. They're just lush, they're blooming, they're gorgeous, they're a thick, dense impact, and they completely consume the corner of my front entrance. So I love putting them in corner plantings where we can let them do what they're meant to do. And these are going to do just that. They are going to open up and become just that understory planting for that tree. So you go right from that big giant canopy of that tree to a clustering of green and color down below. So Brazilian red cloaks, they are fabulous for an understory planting. The only negative that I run across with those guys is they have big leaves, and anything with big leaves in Florida, you do have to kind of keep on it with pesticide treatment. So you definitely want to, hit it hit it with a pesticide a couple times a year and make sure that you're nice and clean. So you kind of keep a lookout for bugs in the garden when that happens. They like full sun to partial shade. They can handle more shade, but they do bloom a good deal more when they have more sun. They're going to be perfect for an understory planting because this tree is going to offer just the right amount of shade for them to really flush out and become gorgeous all the way through, and they will become that wall. I put them in low-lying areas. I have them on both sides of the garden. I have them in that low spot over there on the opposite corner. They're really going to completely engulf that corner the same way, but you kind of see I have them in low areas of the garden so that way they can really soak up that excess water. These plants are just like your typical tropicals. They like watering after establishment about 3 times a week, and they can go all the way up to 4 times a week, but they really do not mind having a little bit of wet feet. They like good draining soil, but they do like wet feet. They can be fertilized with BGI, Bougainvillea fertilizer, about 4 times a year and be super, super happy, and they'll bloom all year long, even in the winter. So that is plant number 3. Tree number 4, which is probably a big shocker to so many of you guys, is the foxtail palm. Now, foxtail palms are notorious for having big, fuzzy, gorgeous foxtail type of leaves, and this triple right here as the centerpiece really does the job of kind of giving us a nice bit of impact. Now, this tree is still tall and slender. It has a nice uniformed canopy at the top, but oh my goodness, as it grows in, those trunks that you see there are going to widen out, and then that canopy is going to not double in size, but goodness, you're going to get a great deal of width for one tree. And I love the way triples really do. I've got a couple small singles that we have on either side that are offering a little bit of kind of almost like a soldier kind of palm. We've got the big chunky one in the middle, some cute triple bottle palms that are just stunners flanking each side, and of course my famous agaves, you guys. But again, I'm getting off topic. I absolutely love this design. I think it turned out so gorgeous. I cannot wait to see it in 6 months. But right now we're talking about coverage. Now, foxtail palms, they will grow all the way to 30 feet tall. So when that does happen, you want to make sure that you pick an understory plant grouping that is going to offer color and thickness at the bottom, so that way it does a good job of covering those big trunks, and that way you go right from this big canopy of fronds down to color, down to the next layer of color and the next layer of color, and that's kind of what creates that tropical feel, that tropical garden that you when you pull it together. And I just kind of want to share, I don't know if I can, this will come off in camera because it is a late in the day and a very windy day, but just look at this combination of plant groupings. We've got the foxtail palm here flanked along the backside with 2 fishtail palms that are going to give my clients such coverage from the house behind them. And then when these red copper leaves down below really get some size to them, they're going to be 8 foot underneath. It's that red little grouping that you see there. I wish I had Bryce here so I could show you guys better. But that little red combination of red copper leaf is really going to do a fantastic job of becoming nothing but a dark sense of red in there. It's going to really help soften that white fence. And then you go down to the false agave, some bright colorings of the golden dew and the Carissa boxwood, and then the 2 front feature trees are these gorgeous triple bottle palms. And you kind of see how the layering is already starting to take hold. Just this combination of plant grouping is going to offer a nice dense bit of coverage right off the bat. So this is something that I would rinse and repeat in several different gardens just to kind of give us that same kind of layering look, and then knowing that that's going to offer coverage. Now, when we're talking about future growth, and that foxtail palm is now 25 foot tall, the red copper leaves at the bottom will be 6 to 8 foot tall, depending on how Mark and Lisa would like to maintain them at. But a nice 6 foot barrier, that's almost the entire trunk. And then you've got the canopy all the way above that, and then the backdrops of the 20 foot to 25 foot fishtail palms. And then pulled forward are these 2 single foxtail palms, and then drop down to these triple bottle palms, which at that time will be, I would say, close to 10 foot wide. They get 12 to 14. That's about as tall as I've seen them get. So, but when they're 14 foot, they'll almost be touching from frond to frond, which will be a fantastic halo for that false agave, because at that point, that false agave will be almost 6 foot tall. So you can really see how this garden is going to come together, and one layer on top of the next layer. Now, my clients were super patient on the plants. We all know that we're dealing with an after storm math, so there's going to be, some leaning plants, and there's going to be, not everything's going to be full and lush like I always love. The great thing about this particular type of plant grouping is that in a matter of 2 months, everything will be full and lush and thick, and they'll really get a chance to see how that all just thickens and comes together. But they're just like me. They don't want to wait. They wanted to move forward. So, and I'm so glad they did, because I really do think that this garden is going to come to life and give them exactly what they're looking for as far as that tropical seclusion. So just to recap, tree number 1 is going to be the fishtail palms. Tree number 2 is going to be the coconut palms, and just what they offer as far as their upper canopy coverage. It's going to be like the halo of the garden, and that's what makes them perfect for the corners or the edges of a garden, because it really gives them, it anchors a space together. Next would be the foxtail palms. Triples, doubles, singles, you just can't go wrong with foxtail palms. They just do such a nice job of giving you a dense canopy. And then when you're planting these big trees, make sure that you're working with plants below them that are going to fill up those trunks. That's going to give them a great skirt. Last plant of our grouping, Louisiana red copperleafs. And these Louisiana red copperleafs, again, you guys are a little burnt from the storm, but you kind of see what variation in color they're going to offer. They're just going to be stunning. The ones that are just down below, those are the autumn flares. They have a little bit more variation in color. I like to pair them together, so I've got the reds in the back and just a little dash of those to the front. They grow the same rate, so they really do grow well with the Louisiana reds. And that's when our small stuff comes into play. So I hope this garden gave you guys some inspiration on a few plants and trees that are tried and true and tough and can really handle our environment. I hope it's something that you can add to your list and reincorporate into your outdoor space, because it's funny, I was talking to my customers inside, and I was sharing with them that this patio space should be that perfect spot in your garden. It should be that spot that you come out and you have your glass of wine or your cup of coffee.
It's got this huge slope, and then all you see is neighbors. And so that's totally different than being on a lake. So I started searching on the internet, and I looked at people's pictures, and I went through about 30 different landscape, and nothing caught my eye. And then I found one of your videos, and I go, Mac. And he goes, she's never going to come to the house. You're never even going to see her. You'll hire the landscape company, and that'll be it. And that is not true.
That was true.
YouTube kind of pulled us together then. You pretty much saw the videos, and it was just a style that you guys liked, and we just kind of meshed after that. Is that generally kind of what happened?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Exactly how it went down.
All right.
I think it's also when you're looking at her videos, find plants you like. So I think that helped, because we went through all the different plants. You asked me things we liked, what we didn't like, and if you kind of have an idea, it helps you, I think.
It absolutely does, because it gives me an idea of your style. And you guys, Lisa, she was super prepared. I mean, we had a long list by the time we were done of likes and dislikes, and that was huge, because by the end of our conversation, I felt like I really knew and understood her style, and I was able to really create a design that I felt like when I came back, they're like, yes, on point. That's exactly what we're looking for, and you guys will get to see in a second what that looks like.
We didn't change one thing.
No, I don't think we did.
Not
I
one
think we
thing.
were. Yeah, I think we were pretty much on point.
And the other thing too is we've tried to do this on our own before. We've tried in other houses, and it just never ever really looked like, it always looked like DIYers did it, But this is completely over the top.
Well, and that's surprising to me because you guys, I felt like when we talked from the first time to the next time, you really knew what you were looking for. I mean, a lot of my clients are like, I'm not really sure. I mean, kind of know it when I see it. But when I spoke with you guys, you're like, no, this is the look that I like. This is kind of what I'm going for.
Because
So.
we watched all your videos.
Oh, so you're very educated. I like it. I said this earlier in my intro part of the video, and I'd said that, when we create a space for our clients, my biggest goal, my biggest thought process is I'm always looking at the space from your entertaining area, your relaxing area, your porch, for instance, and trying to see if what we created is going to change the way you use that space. And so, curious to know, do you think that is going to change the way you use your outdoor space?
Well, sure, because the screen room right now is going to become a fully enclosed room, air conditioned and everything. So we're actually going to add living space out there. So
Just so we can see
we'll
everything.
spend a lot more time out there.
Yes.
Because in the summertime, it's just too darn hot to be out there. And we in our other houses, we never spent time in our patios.
So you're really going to just multiply your square footage, your living square footage back there by enclosing that area in. Anything else that you'd like to share with the YouTube community?
We had the most horrible backyard because we had this huge slope. Then we have a drainage pipe in the middle of the yard. And so I really didn't think anything, I really didn't believe you could do anything. And now I'm happy with our backyard. And before that, I was like, I love our house, but I hate our backyard.
And the work that I would have had to do to do that would have taken me
6 months, 8 months.
It would have taken me a long time and a lot of energy. And maybe if I was a little bit younger, I could have done it, but I'm just so over. I just hire.
You're smart enough now to know you don't want to do it,
I've
right?
done all the landscaping, I've done all the mowing.
But you even helped us in the front area, and so we could do a little bit of it on our own, and so it wasn't like, okay, I'm only taking care of that and I don't care about you. Like, you really helped us with everything.
Well, thank you. You guys have been great to work with, and ultimately I want success. And we were just talking about, and I'll share with you guys kind of what we do. We were just talking about sharing a care schedule. So at the very end of this job, we're going to walk through the property, and we're just going to go over kind of how to trim, how to maintain, how to fertilize, and just till they get the hang of things. They're gardeners, so they got this. But we're just going to go over those basics, and I'm going to leave them with a little care schedule that shows the plants and the trees, and then the description on there. So when I'm gone, they have their homework list. Yes. So, all right, you guys, it's been my pleasure, and I thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And
Excited.
oh, good. I can't wait to see this in 6 months and see how it's just blossomed and filling in, and because this is just the beginning of your coverage. I just cannot wait to see it all come to town. I'll come back and it'll be a jungle.
I'm excited.
So, all right, thank you. So there you have it, you guys. That's a backyard space that we finished today. So it is a very young landscape. I think it's going to do the job for my clients. They're going to be really, really happy as they see this really unfold and create that seclusion, create that privacy that they're hoping for in their space. I say this all the time, and I truly, truly believe it because it's how I live my life. But I was talking to my clients earlier, and I was telling them that when you're looking at creating an outdoor space, you're wanting that resort-like feel. It doesn't have to be that cafe on the corner that's your favorite place to grab a cup of coffee with your friends. It doesn't have to be that, that bar down the road to grab that glass of wine with a girlfriend or a husband, or, it doesn't have to be that. It could be your back porch that's your favorite place to do that. It's your favorite place to enjoy that front porch to grab that, cup of tea or a cup of coffee. We want to live in our spaces like they are retreats, and that's what I love about this community. I hope Milton and future hurricanes don't change that for anyone, because we are gardeners and things really do evolve as our gardens grow and as things happen. So I'm hoping that these upcoming videos I can help with kind of giving some ideas and some suggestions on what's going to work in the spaces along Florida and the pluses and the things that I've had really, really good success with, that I not only plant in my own garden, but I plant for all of my clients. So along the Treasure and Space Coast, these are things that are tried and true that I feel confident in using over and over again. So I hope that I can pass on that knowledge to you guys and share my experience with you. And as you guys know, I share my flaws and I share my mistakes. So I definitely want to share my good experiences with all of you guys in hopes that, you know, it helps you create the space that you want for your own home and your own garden and the space that you live in. However, for those folks out there like Lisa and Mark who found me on YouTube, and you guys are looking to create something very similar to this space, and you are looking for more than just inspiration, looking to have it done, then give me a call. I'd be happy to meet with you. We work along the Treasure and Space Coast, so we work all the way as far down south as Jupiter, Florida, and go up the coast to where we are today here at Cocoa Beach, Rockledge area, Satellite Beach. So if you're located in one of those areas, please reach out to me. I'd be very happy to take a look at your space and walk through your garden and see if we can create a space very similar in your neck of the woods. So thank you so much for watching the video. Good luck to all of you guys out there, and I will see you in the very next video. Take care.